This is what you call an example of the Hegelian dialectic, okay, the problem reaction solution. Alright, Shalom, Sensei Vesharola, Kal, Halimla, Alhayanawa, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashai, Bahashem Rachaha, Kodash. My name is Gabaga of the Hopeful Election from the Kamya Prophet in Toronto. Alright, and this is major world news that's coming out. Okay. And then before going into it, I want to say, as it is written, let the elders of the world become worthy of their honors, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine, which are the Presbyterian of Grimlethorne, beginning with the elder apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders on down. I also want to say peace, salutation to all you Akim of the elect. Shalom to the elect out there. All right, so this is coming out of global news, really. So I just came across this today. It says, due to laws in Australia, soon people under 16 will no longer be able to use social media. And that's why I say this is a perfect example of that Hegelian dialectic, or we call a problem reaction solution. Okay, and that's what this man Isaiah does. Okay, this is one of his tricks, one of his tools that he uses to basically trap the people up and have the people continue to basically depend on him and ultimately continue to be under his grips. Okay, he presents you with the problem, and that comes with presents you the problem. Then there's a reaction to it. Then he brings in a solution. And the problem that he brought, okay, beginning with social media, that was the problem that he brought with social media. Okay, social media has really been the cause of the breakdown of relations. Okay, within the past like 10 years, I would say, within the past 10 years, social media has greatly, affected, relations between people, relations between men and women, relations between, children and their parents, relations between, relations between people in general. Okay, being able to, have, a cordial conversation with somebody. Okay, being able to actually, have skills and know how to communicate with people. Okay, this all has been appended by social media. So now people are seeing it for the problem that it caused. Okay, now the reaction people are doing now is basically people are trying to reduce down their the screen times. Okay, and not having to basically give the children phones at an early age. Okay, this is a reaction that people are doing because they're seeing the way social media entraps these people and have them addicted to their phones and to their devices, to where the people do not know how to interact anymore with one another. Okay, so people are more cold-hearted. People are more lonely. People are more quick to to jump to conclusions. Okay, there's all this false information that's going around on social media. Okay, the whole thing with the misinformation and all these things. All right, people are addicted to these phones. You see, so now this is becoming a problem in society. So now the reaction people are wanting is basically people are reacting to it by trying to coming up with all these ways to reduce their screen times. Okay, and ultimately now the government is gonna present you with a solution, which is to ban what Warner says is to ban the use of social media for underage users, right? Which this is nothing but just another ploy for the government to get more control over you, ultimately take more take a higher role in controlling what you do and how you do it and when you do it. So now with this, basically they're gonna require people to show their ID, show their that they're over a certain age to be able to use social media. For you to use it, you're gonna have to prove who you are, prove your ID. So now you're gonna be required to bring over your ID documents. For you to use these social medias account like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X, right? So this is what we call that. This is once again this is a problem reaction solution. When we go into it, let's go. I got it here pulled up, and it says on Google, it says the Hegelian dialectic is a philosophical method describing historical and conceptual development through a three-stage process: a thesis, which is a problem, okay, and opposing antithesis, that's the reaction, and as resolving synthesis, which is a solution that preserves the truth of both at a high level. Okay, so now once people accept the solution, which is basically the government coming in with the solution to curtail the use of social media. So now you're going to be required to show your ID, prove your age, and not be a minor, so that you can use these social medias. And people are going to welcome this, okay, with open arms, not knowing this is entrapping them more, to be on a higher level of surveillance and manipulation, can ultimately, control. Okay, so go and play a little bit with this video here, and I want to say this is for this is fair use. Fair use. None of this is being used for monetary gain. This is only for educational purposes. So fair use. Fair use.
To ban social media use for teenagers under the age of 16. Here in the United States of America today, Australia's historic move, a world first, is headline news. CNN, Fox News, the New York Times, all covering this major moment, but it is world news too.
Telling kids to log off. Children in Australia are waking up now blocked from their social media accounts.
Millions of children and teenagers are now blocked from social media in Australia.
Australia's move could set a precedent because Denmark, Norway, France and the collection of nations at the European Union are all looking at Australia's model and whether or not they could do something similar. Here in the United States of America, a former White House chief of staff in the Obama administration, Rahm Emanuel, has gone public saying there needs to be a national ban here, that the United States should be following Australia's lead.
Look, when it comes to our adolescents, it's either going to be adults or the algorithms. One of them is going to raise the kids. And I think we need to help parents.
But what do...
Yeah, help parents, yeah, right. This man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Anything that he does is to destroy you. Okay? It says in scriptures, John 10 verse 10, the thief cometh not but steal, to kill and destroy. All right? Ultimately, the so-called white man trying to, coming up with these wiles, but ultimately tells in scripture also that we're not ignorant of the same devices. Let me grab this real quick. Unwillingly. So this comes up. Can you right here? This book of Ecclesiasticus 14 verse 5. Right? Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 14 verse 5 out of the Apocrypha, and it reads, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? Okay, so Adam is the one that's evil to himself. He's really evil in general. Okay, he's the one that's polluting the air. The same air that he breathes, he pollutes. The same water that he drinks, he pollutes. The same earth that he walks on, he pollutes. Okay, all just for the for the gain of a dollar, just to be rich. Okay, this man is out here doing the most. Just to basically, have, that hegemony over the other nations, over the world, but he's doing it in wickedness. Okay, he's doing it, to destroy the earth, and ultimately he's going to do to destroy himself too, because ultimately he's the one. He also is on the earth. Okay, it's not like is exempt from it, and all the thing that he does is going to turn around and bite him. Okay, and that's what you see, right? That's equal to himself, ultimately that's why, these Amalekites, they betrayed these other Edomites as if they're the heathen, but really these are the same people. All right. Says, he that is evil, it's like he that is evil to himself, to whom will be good, he shall not take pleasure in his goods. Right. There is none worse than he that envieth himself. Right. And that's ultimately what these Edomites really are. Okay, here it is. You're supposed to be empowered by people. You have the Edomites that you have Jake, so-called blacks that are doing better than Esau. Okay, you have these Edomites strung out, on these drugs. And these veterans out there, homeless. The homeless population is mostly Edomites. When you go to these shelters, you see none but Edomites. Okay, for the most part, right? So therefore, these Esau Edom is not taking these Edomites that are in power, not taking care of their own people. Okay, they're having them out here languishing. You see, they hate you. So-called they hate you. Really the elites hate you other Edomites. That are poor. Same way they hate niggas. right? No, they really dislike you, man. They have a strong dislike towards poor people, right? And ultimately, a lot of these Edomites, they're suffering just as much as Jake's suffering, man, right? It says, and there is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. Verse 7, and if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. Kind of right. Ultimately, it's going to show that he's really doing it just to gain more control and more surveillance over the people, so that for you to be able to access your social media, you have to prove who you are by your ID, like your address, where you live, how old you are, all these things. This man wants to be able to is basically trying to get you to give up this information on or willingly on your own. Ultimately, right now, anybody can go on the internet, and therefore they can't track who's who. Okay, they don't know who's who, because you can have 3 or 4 different accounts. Okay, and anybody can be anybody on the internet. But now this is a problem, because the world is becoming more and more digital. So therefore, they're gonna seek to control it. Okay, but but before they do that, they need to know who's who, right? So that's what this is their attempt to do so, right? That's why I read, if he doeth good, do it unwillingly, and at the last he shall declare his wickedness. His wickedness is that really he wants to control you and surveil you even further. Okay, this is his problem reaction solution, right?
It's either going to be adults or the algorithms. One of them is going to raise the kids. And I think we need to help parents.
But what do the people on the streets think?
Parents ought to have more control.
Parents are on their phones just as long as kids are, just as much. Get off your phone and have real conversations.
And while calls might be growing louder here for action against social media companies, you have to remember the power they wield here. It is major political power too, through political donations. And just wind the clock back to the beginning of this year, to January, when so many of those tech giant CEOs had a front row seat to Donald Trump's inauguration.
Yeah, and it's not just that, even here in Canada, you have all these kids that are,
and I find that a very worrying.
They're addicted to their phones, because they now take part in gambling. Okay, you have all these underage kids that are gambling, right? And this is becoming a problem to parents, to society in general, because these underage kids are gambling, going on these sports betting sites, okay, and making money, becoming rich. Some of them, a lot of them actually, wasting their money, going broke, okay, and ultimately becoming addicted to it, to where, the whole day, they spend on the phone, trying to chase that high of gambling, right? Chasing that dopamine, right? But ultimately, this man, is now saying that these kids, should not be gambling because it's underage. Now they have to prove who they are. Let me go ahead and get this. Okay. Devices, man. Jeez. Yeah. 2 Corinthians 2 verse 11, and it reads, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. That's right. So this man is, he's what he's doing, is all, we are aware of it. That's what it tells you in the book of Isaiah 33 verse 6, the wisdom and knowledge, stability of the times. So having that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of knowing what this man is about, doing what is doing, okay, is going to keep you stable and ultimately be able to keep you sane in terms of coming into time of Jacob trouble, okay, time like never before. Ultimately, this is all going to lead to, when these kids lose the power to be able to go online, they're going to lose it, man. Right? Like even Pastor Hart always quotes that guy, George Lente, if you have nothing to lose, you lose it. And these kids, they live for social media. That's all they live for. Okay, really and truly. When you're in high school, now even elementary, all you want to do basically, be on social media and actually, and just live for it. That's what really it's about. That's how far that's somebody is gotten. Okay, these kids are on social media 24/7, man. So you're trying to take it away from them. That's going to cause major issues. Okay, this way, it's gonna go into like basically, these kids are gonna turn into monsters. These kids are really going to like lash out. Okay, because now you've given them this thing that's addictive, and not you have to take it from them. Won't be easy. Tell this video that I came across too real quick, just to back that up. Yeah, right here.
Billions of kids and teens in Australia. Billions of kids and teens in Australia, they just lost access to social media.
Where is it?
Australian children are waking up with
Like this. Yeah, right here.
You'd have a hard time prying it out of my cold dead hands. Australia's.
So here we said.
Man, you're all set. You'd have a hard time prying it out of my cold dead hands.
So you say you'll have a hard time prying it out of our cold-headed hands, right? And that's really the sentiment with this.
Australia's banning social media for
children with the devices, right? And there's another one here.
In a world first, Australia will ban social media for children under the...
That's not it.
Australian children are waking up without access to social media for the first time as the government's world-leading ban takes effect. Kids under the age of 16 have been shut out of multiple sites, including Facebook, Instagram and Snapchat, as part of Anthony Albanese's plan to combat online bullying and also the negative consequences of big tech on our young people.
The algorithms, endless speeds and the pressure that can come with that.
So this man right here, you really think this man cares about your children, man? This man could care less about your children. He only cares about getting more control and making more money. Okay, that's what it's about. He could give a damn about your kids, man. Right? That's how this man has been able, really, to deceive the whole world. Okay, wearing that three-piece suit and a big smile on his face, right? Looking like the way it looks, all looking, not looking very like what's the word? Basically, he has a look that makes you trust him, having that trustworthy look. But really, this man is a devil. This man is trying to take away everything that you have. He's a devil, and he's not white. He's really red. Okay, different shades of red. The so-called white man is not really white. You can see his shirt that he's wearing is white, but his skin color is not white. This is just one of the lies that they've been able to, to deceive the whole world by calling themselves, Caucasian, a European white, right? Okay. But really, this man's a devil, man. Go and get them close up. Classic one, John 10 verse 10, right? John 10 and 10. And he reads this and says, and he reads, the thief is what Yahweh Shai said, the thief cometh not but for to steal. The so-called white man, he came in and stole, the land, okay, and to kill. He massacred, he murdered the natives, and to destroy. Now he's destroying the whole earth. He's already destroyed the whole earth. Now he's looking to go to Mars, looking to go to outer space. He's trying to go underground, beneath the sea, because everything above the ground is destroyed. Really, everything above the ground, everything above, below, and on the ground is been destroyed by this man. Right? It says, "I am come that they may have life," talking about Yahweh Shai, and that they may have life, and that may have it more abundantly. They talking about the elect of Israel. It's talking about really all Israel, beginning the elect. Okay, and like those, the heathen also basically going to have a break, right? Damo going to say, "Brate Yahweh, Brate Yahweh Shai," and so come Shwala wa abad bebal shalom shiled shalom akim.